the Santa Fe Arts and Culture website. So on that note, I really want to thank the Santa Fe Arts and Culture Department for inviting me to do this series of webinars about getting comfortable making content on your mobile phone as part of the CARES Act, and for Currents New Media facilitating this opportunity. This is my second time ever doing anything like this, and I recognize some names from my first webinar. So I'm just really grateful to get to learn alongside you, and I hope you learned something from this webinar as well. This is going to be mostly about the basics of live streaming from your cell phone. So not so much about the desktop live streaming. If there's interest in that, whenever I send out the Google survey about which day would work best for the one-on-one consultations, there will be an additional question about if desktop streaming is of interest to you, and if it is, there might be an opportunity for the city to facilitate something like that in the future. So that would be really awesome. This is going to be basic, so if you feel like it's a bit redundant for you, I would really encourage you to just stick with me, because I think I have some tricks that will make live streaming from your phone just a little bit easier and look a little prettier. So my name is Belle. I work for Currents New Media. I'm their digital media manager. I've been with Currents for about 2 years, or this will be my third festival this year, which is pretty crazy. And on that note, I'm gonna drop the Currents website link in the chat. If you guys don't know about Currents, I'd love for you to know more. I am at 826 Gallery right now, which is our gallery on Canyon Road. We're open year round, except not really right now because of COVID, but what you can do is schedule an appointment to get a virtual tour of our beautiful show in the gallery right now, A World Contained by Anne Farrell, or A World Contained Past and Present Works by Anne Farrell. And Anne will be conducting those tours, so you'll actually get a little bit of FaceTime with the artists themselves. And I'm gonna drop the link to our website in the chat now. And without further ado, we do have someone a little confused about where the link is, so I'm gonna resend that to them, and then we will jump right in. Just one moment, I'm gonna turn my video off for 1 sec so I can send this person the link, because I really want everyone who wants to learn about this to have the opportunity. Okay. So, all right, you can see me again. So we have a lot to get through tonight. So I am going to be taking questions in the Q&A area, but we'll be holding all of those questions until the end, and I will be intermittently looking at the chat should you have any pressing questions. And hopefully at about 5:45, we can jump into the Q&A, but that might go a little bit longer, so just prepare you for that. So let's go ahead and jump right in. And I wanna ask you guys, if you wanna follow along with me, which you don't have to since this is going to be recorded, to download, this was in the prerequisites, but either download the Instagram app, the Facebook app, or Prism Live Studio app. These are all in the Apple App Store. Instagram and Facebook are definitely available in the Android store, but I am not so sure about Prism Live Studio app. That might just be an iPhone thing, but this is going to be an iPhone course. But if you have an Android, stick with me because a lot of these tips are transferable. So let's talk about why live streaming is important, just to start. Live streaming gives you an opportunity to connect with your audience in a way that's not necessarily pre-staged, though you can set yourself up to have a really authentic experience with your audience without any major surprises. So this live stream experience gives your audience a chance to put your face to your brand, or your employees' faces to the brand of your organization or institution. And that's really invaluable because it sort of breaks the wall down between just an arts institution or the artist who has an artistic process and this is their product. And you're getting to show them a little bit about yourself, and you're opening the opportunity for instantaneous feedback. And that's really, really invaluable. And we find at Currents that that ups there's a word that I'm missing, our interactions on our social media by a ton. It just makes it a lot more personable and personal. And the main things that we focus on, in the Q&A, Prism Live Studio is on Google Play, so that is going to be available for everyone. So what we focus on is Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Another great channel for live streaming is Twitch, but that does get a little bit more advanced and it's typically a more niche audience. So what we're going to be focusing on here is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So let's jump into lighting. Lighting is really important whenever you're live streaming because it can sort of make or break what you are trying to show people. So if I'm trying to do a gallery walkthrough and there is a ton of light pouring in through the windows and I'm trying to switch back and forth between myself and the works and it's getting totally washed out, people are going to leave your live stream. You're not going to get a lot of interactions because there's not content. You want to give people things to actively interact with. And so I try and be extremely aware of what my lighting situation is before my live stream and planning ahead for what the lighting situation is going to be like when I am live streaming. So if you're in an area with big windows, account for the fact that the sun is going to be in a different place when you're streaming. So natural light is best. That's what I prefer whenever you're doing a live stream like this. It's just on your face, you're sitting, you're not moving a ton. But if there is no natural light, like right now, work with what you have, like a desk lamp, or if you have lights in the front of the room or the back of the room. Right now I have lights in the back of the room turned off, lights in the front of the room turned on with a desk lamp, and I'll show you that whenever we switch to me screen sharing from my phone, because you'll see my whole setup, including my coffee and all of my cords everywhere. And whenever you're doing a spatial tour, like a gallery walkthrough, or doing like a virtual tour like we're doing with Anne at the gallery, it's best, in my opinion, to do it whenever natural light is low. So whenever we're like this, natural light is great. Whenever you're doing a tour, natural light, not so much. It can wash it out. So it's best to have low light for that type of situation. And I'll show you that all as we get into the screen share, which I will go ahead and start now. So I'm going to screen share from my phone, but you all will still be able to see me. All right, let me pull back up the chat so I can still. There's a note in the chat, was Prism Live Studio the only app you had recommended? Prism Live Studio and Instagram and Facebook, if that's where you want to stream to. If you want to stream to YouTube, we just need Prism Live right now. Also, I want to thank you guys all again for being here today. I gotta be honest, I'm a little more nervous for this one than my last one, and I don't really know why, but here we go. Okay, so we are going to start with Instagram. So Instagram live streaming requires you to have an Instagram account. I assume most of you have those. If you don't, they're really easy to make, but I'm not going to cover that today. We're just going to jump right in. So I'm using a test account today. That's why there's nothing here. And using that so I can show you guys how live actually happens. And I'm going to take my phone out of my stabilizer real quick to show you that. And I'm going to do it through turning off my screen share and holding it up. This is the Osmo 1 or the Osmo 2. I'm not sure which generation it is, but it's great. It comes with a stabilizer, or it comes with a tripod. This is a stabilizer. It holds your phone straight. And they are on sale right now. And so I'm going to drop that link in the chat. I'm not saying that you have to use a stabilizer to have good quality live streams, but it definitely helps. And if you don't have a stabilizer on hand, what I have done in the past, if I'm going to be stationary like this, is just use something heavy like a jar, and I'll set the jar down and set my phone against it. It works. That's the more DIY method. So I'm gonna put my phone back in the stabilizer, and that's how it holds it. I'm gonna set that down and screen share again. Okay, so we're gonna get back into the Instagram app. And here is how we open the live stream. We are going to go to the home page in the lower left-hand corner of our Instagram app. Press that, and in the upper right-hand corner, you're gonna see 3 icons. The furthest left one is the content creation button, and that is where you're going to find the option to start live streaming. I love live streaming on Instagram just because it is so easy. Down here at the bottom, you can see underneath the white button, and I'm sorry if it's distracting that you have to see 2 of me right now. It's distracting for me too. We have post, story, reels, and then the whole way at the end, you see live. And to correct me looking washed out here, what I'm gonna do is press on my phone screen right on my face. And that color corrects the area. And if I want to turn my phone screen around, if I'm doing a gallery tour or I am holding the phone on someone else while they're talking, what I'm going to do is in the lower right-hand corner, you're going to see a camera icon with 2 arrows. And you're going to press that to turn the camera around. You can also double tap the screen to switch the camera around, and that's a little bit of a smoother transition. Again, I have to color correct. There we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and start my live video just by touching that button. My phone is going to check the connection, everything's good, and I'm now live. So if anyone has an Instagram account and would like to join my stream so I can show you guys how to stream with 2 people on Instagram, go ahead in the chat and drop your Instagram username and I can invite you to join my live stream so we can all learn how to do that. Another great thing about Instagram live streaming is just that Instagram notifies all of your followers that you're live streaming, and that notification that comes up on your phone often people will click on it, and if they join your live stream and they're interested in the content, they'll stay or comment or give you some interaction. And if they're not, they'll leave, but they were automatically invited. All right, we have someone that wants to be invited. So what I'm gonna do to invite someone to my Instagram Live, and this is great for interviews, this is great for doing a tour with an artist who is not on location with you, is down at the bottom here, we have a question mark, a little paper airplane, and 2 people icon. So I'm gonna press on the 2 people icon, and I can either search Santa Fe Angel, that's what was dropped in the chat. Oop. Can't find you. So I'm gonna go ahead and invite Genevieve Russell, who is in here. We're reconnecting due to poor connection, and that's definitely something that you have to be aware of is how's your service, how's your Wi-Fi, and if something like this happens, it could be your Wi-Fi. Go ahead and just swipe up on your screen, turn your Wi-Fi off to go to your service, and that typically solves the problem. So I am waiting for Genevieve to join me. You should get a message, Genevieve. I'm waiting for you to join me, and then we can all see, oh, my phone is still on that screen. So I'm gonna stop the share really quick and reconnect the phone. Okay, Genevieve was unable to join. Can anyone see my phone right now? Do you want to let me know in the chat? You can see my phone. Okay, great. If anyone wants to go live, so I can show how that looks. Just a black box. Okay, we will fix that right now. Don't worry, we'll fix it. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. Right, we're trying to get connected back to the phone. So in this little interim, if anyone has any pressing questions, we can answer some of those right now if everyone is okay with that while we're reconnecting. Oh, this is a really good question. Oh, there we are. Okay, this is great. This is a great time to not only answer the question that was asked, but also to show you what to do after your live video has ended. I couldn't get anyone to join, that's okay. Basically what happens is if you are waiting for someone to join your call, you will invite them to join, how you saw me invite Genevieve. And their video will go to the bottom, you'll be at the top, and it's a split screen between the 2 of you. Where you come into problems with that is if you want a really high quality video that's split screen and recorded, the comments that are coming in will be over their face. It's fine, it is just kind of like an error with the design, but everyone expects that from Instagram, so it's really nothing to be worried about. Frank asked me if I want him to join. That would be great, Frank, if you want to join. And then we can show everyone how that works. Ooh, that is the wrong thing. That is Reels, and it's a new thing on Instagram that is very annoying. So let's go live again. And Frank, if you want to tune in to the live. Okay. And we had a question, is it best to shoot vertical or horizontal? On Instagram, it is best to shoot vertical. That is how the videos save. And that is the format in which they are shown. But on Facebook and YouTube, it's going to be best to be horizontal. I think we're just going to skip showing how to join, but I will show you how to save. So are you sure you want to end your live video? We are going to end now. And here, I am going to share to Igtv. That saves my video to my feed. And it also allows me to download it without having to download and share into two separate steps. It has to be longer than a minute. You see that here. That's okay. We're gonna get out. So I am going to really quick give you guys a second to get caught up with me because it seems like a few people are having trouble joining. So I'm going to stop the video and mute for just 5 minutes. And I really hope everyone is still here whenever I come back. Okay, and we're back. I hope I didn't lose too many of you. It looks like I didn't. Thank you so much. All right, so if everyone feels okay about Instagram, I am going to go ahead and move on to YouTube. So YouTube is a little bit of a tricky situation if you don't have the right tools for it, but it's amazing if you do. So for YouTube, typically you need to have 1,000 followers to start live streaming either from your desktop or your mobile. But there is a really, really easy way around that, and that is the Prism Live app. So I'm going to get into the Prism app. And again, if you guys did not have time to download the Prism app, that is more than okay. This is going to be recorded and you can follow along after the webinar concludes. I'm gonna share my phone screen again with you guys. And I'm gonna go into Prism Live. And you got two of me again, believe me. No one hates it more than me. But the thing with Prism is that, like in my last webinar, for those of you who were with me then, It's a free app that you can upgrade. So there are little things like a watermark or certain features that you can't use, but there, you don't really need to use the other features. And you can get rid of the watermark whenever you set up your Prism app. You allow notifications, and there you are able to turn the watermark off on your stream. So to use Prism, you can see it's pretty easy. I'm already on live, that's the preset. I can see myself and I can do the same thing that I did on Instagram by tapping on my face to sort of even out the lighting. And if maybe it's too bright on my face or I'm not wanting to look at me, I can tap around the screen and lighten different areas. So let's go through this like we did with the Instagram in terms of steps. Let's start in the upper right-hand corner. So there's an added step in using Prism in that because we're choosing a streaming destination, YouTube in this scenario, it's not like just on Instagram where I go live and I'm immediately live on Instagram. There's an extra step, but it's super easy. So I'm going up into the upper right-hand corner where I can see my icon. I'm clicking on it. I don't have any contents because I am using a test account. And right by my name, there's a little settings gear. And I'm clicking on that. And first, I'm going to choose my resolution. I'm going 1080p, that's the highest quality, and I want my stream to look really beautiful, so that is what I'm choosing. I have my notifications on, so I am turning off the watermark, or turning on conceal watermark, a little confusing there. And then I'm going to stream destinations, and that's that extra step. Here you can see I'm already connected to YouTube, but it's super easy to reconnect. It's going to take me to my Google account. I'm going to go ahead and allow it to log in for me, and I'm already connected right there. So it's just a couple steps. It's really not that bad. Once you do it once, it'll come more natural to you. This is all practice. And then I'm going to go back. And I don't really have anything else to do here, so I'm going to get out of my settings. And then I'm going to go up into the upper left-hand corner where you can see those three little dots. And here I'm going to turn on save video after streaming. And that's just in case I have some type of issue where the download doesn't go through after I'm done streaming, or my Wi-Fi cuts out or something like that. I'm gonna get out of there, and I am ready to stream. So I'm gonna press ready. And something that you wanna know about live streaming is that there's always that awkward about 20 to 30 seconds at the beginning of anyone's live stream, unless they're professional streamers, that makes it a little uncomfortable if you're getting settled or if you're walking around or if you don't even know that it's streaming yet. So just prepare for that and don't be embarrassed about it because it happens to everyone. It is asking me to select my destination, which I did in my settings. I denoted where my destination would be. I'm selecting down here, Bel Sigado with the YouTube logo. And then I'm gonna press OK in the upper right-hand corner. So here we go. Under my name, you can see that I've selected public and I've selected 1080p. So I am ready to go live. I'm gonna check my lighting again. I'm a little off center, so I'm gonna adjust that, and that looks pretty good to me. I think I am ready to go live. So I'm gonna press go live. And because this is a test account, that is something that I should have started with. Your account, even though you don't need 1,000 followers to start streaming, because I didn't set my account up more than 24 hours ago, I can't stream. So before you're going to stream to YouTube, you have to do your first stream 24 hours in advance, and then your account will be good to go. That is something that we ran into in the Currents Festival last year. We almost had a total meltdown because we didn't think we were gonna be able to stream to YouTube. But that's the screen that you'll get to, not a big deal. And then tomorrow, the screen that will come up after I go live is exactly the same as Instagram. I'll be seeing myself and I can read the comments in that screen. So I just wanna stop for a second and ask anyone if they have questions about the Prism app that we can address while we're still in it, and the 24-hour wait period with YouTube. Because if not, we are going to go ahead and move on to Facebook. And we're a little ahead of schedule, so feel free to ask your questions. What are the advantages of using this versus Instagram Live? So the advantages are basically just if you have different audiences in different places. And your archive on YouTube is more easily embeddable than your videos on Igtv. Igtv is a great addition to your Instagram feed because it has more content. You basically want as much content as you can have on all of your platforms. It makes your organization look really well-rounded. It makes you look really professional. So the great part about being on YouTube is that everyone has YouTube. Everyone uses YouTube, and it automatically will archive your live stream to your YouTube library. From there, you can export it to your computer and upload it to Instagram TV from your desktop. So it's not really one is better than the other, but it's for different purposes. And we typically do content on YouTube that we're not expecting to have a ton of comments on or a ton of interaction, whereas Instagram is a little bit more dynamic where people can comment really fast. They're typically doing it from their phones. And on YouTube, we're expecting that people are watching from their desktop. Okay. Maybe I'm moving a little fast. I see in the comments that a couple people are behind, but once again, don't worry about it because this is going to be recorded. You can reference it as many times as you want. And remember that I'll be sending out a survey about which day works best for you to do a one-on-one consultation, and you can ask me whatever you want in those 15-minute consultations. All right, so I am going to jump into Facebook now. I'm also going to be using a test account in Facebook so I can show you all the steps. And I'm just curious, but if anyone has live streamed for your institution or for yourself or your organization before, let me know in the chat, because I think that live streaming is sort of intimidating, and it was definitely intimidating whenever we first got started with it. And just getting used to seeing yourself and putting yourself out there to your audience is a really interesting practice. And I would be very interested to know what you guys have had experience with in that realm. And on that note, also, there is a poll for your location, just asking if you're from Santa Fe, Albuquerque, Taos, if you wouldn't mind filling that out at some point. All right, we're gonna share the screen again. Okay, so I am in the Currents test account. Currents current, Mr. or Mrs. Currents current. And how I got here was just whenever you open the app, you're gonna be on the home page. You can see that I'm in the home page. By the lower left-hand corner, the little house is lit up. So I'm gonna go to my profile, and I can get there by on the bottom. You see the two folks next to each other, or little icons, I guess they're not necessarily people. And then the single, and that is going to be my profile. Now to go live, I'm going the whole way down. You can see our tests. Oh, where did it go? Just one moment and we'll get that screen share back up. It's being a little finicky today. Thank you guys again for sticking with me on that. Just one moment. Okay, we are back. Don't know really what's going on with my phone other than it's old, and I'm sure some of you can relate to that struggle. Okay, here we are. So we are going to scroll down and go to our post section. In the post, I am going to click on what's on your mind. And from here, you can scroll down and toggle through different options of what you want to share on your Facebook page. Here, you can see the option for live video down at the bottom. It is the second from the bottom with a little red icon. And you can go ahead and click on that. I'm going to allow access to my screen here. It's going to pull up your settings, and right by camera, just go ahead and turn camera on. Double click your home screen and go back to your Facebook app. I'm going to go back to the status setting. Click live video. It's going to ask for your microphone. That you can do in the app. And you're going to come to this screen. There's a lot of silly, confusing stuff down here at the bottom about filters. If you want to do more of a professional live stream, I definitely would recommend against using a filter. And here we're going to do the same thing that we've done in the last two options, which is I'm going to click on my face to adjust the lighting, and that also will get rid of those options that make the screen just a little too busy to focus. Ooh. And here you can see in the upper left-hand corner, I can choose to share it to my friends, public, anyone on or off Facebook. That's the best option if your audience is not super social media savvy. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that on friends since this is just our test account. But if you would like to do public, you just toggle between them. And I'm going to get out of there. And like we did in the last two, there were options to turn the screen around. In the upper left-hand corner, right next to the X and the flash, you can press that and just turn the screen around as well. And that is pretty much the settings that you need to know for Facebook Live. I'm going to check myself again like I did in the last two, recenter the light, make sure I'm centered and feel confident. And then I'm going to go ahead and start my live video. This does have the same issues that happens on Instagram sometimes, where your feed will pause or stop if, oh, you guys can't see my phone while I'm live because it pauses that. So I'm gonna let that run for a moment so I can show you how to save. And then I'm going to, you'll be able to see my phone again. But what I was saying is, Facebook Live has the same problem as Instagram, where if your Wi-Fi connection is spotty or your service is trying to pull at your Wi-Fi, it'll pause and say, stream unavailable right now. In that scenario, we're gonna do exactly the same as we did in Instagram and open our settings by sliding up from the bottom on an iPhone, I believe 9 or earlier, and turn our Wi-Fi off. And 9 or above, you're gonna swipe from the upper right-hand corner down to the left-hand corner, and there you'll see your Wi-Fi option. Getting a question really quick while I let that video run for a moment. Are you initiating all of your lives through Prism or through Facebook and Instagram? Yeah, so that is a great question. Prism allows us to stream to YouTube with less than 1,000 followers. In order to stream straight through the YouTube app, you need 1,000 followers or more. But if you have less, which I think most of us do, you just have to do that first stream, give it 24 hours, and then through the Prism app, set the destination as YouTube, and then you're good to go to stream with less than 1,000 followers. Facebook, you can do through the app like I just did, and Instagram, you can also go through the app with that plus. I can review that at the end if we have some time for it, which I am sure we will. Okay, so I'm going to finish my stream. And since I'm live, I know that you guys can't see this, but there is a little button in the lower right-hand corner that if you watch this recorded and are following along, you'll see it on your phone. And it just says finish. It couldn't be more clear. So I am going to finish my video. And it is giving me a little recap of what you just saw. And what I want to do, because I think my content is really great, I want everyone to be able to see it who wasn't able to tune into my stream. I am going to share my video, and there it will come up on my newsfeed, which is fantastic. And whenever it says we'll let you know whenever your video is ready, just because you can see your stream on your feed doesn't mean that everyone will. It takes a little bit to buffer, but let's see if it's ready now. Go to your profile, scroll down. Yep. So that is how we are sharing to, there we go. That is how we are sharing live streams to Facebook. So I just want to show you guys a little bit in detail how I hold the phone when I'm live streaming. And then after that, we can go ahead into the Q&A portion. But this is really, it's a less talked about in the tutorials that you can find on YouTube. It's a less talked about skill, but it really, really helps the quality of your streams if you don't have a stabilizer. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull my phone out of my stabilizer and try not to knock over my coffee. And show you guys what I do if I am having the screen flipped around. And these tools are really important because when we are live streaming, we don't have the opportunity to run our videos through a stabilizer to make them look more smooth. We don't have the option to, you know, sort of rehearse if you make a mistake. It's just there and that's totally fine. But what I do to help if I don't have the stabilizer with me, I hold my phone like this, like a big claw, and then hold the bottom of my phone with these fingers, like another claw. And I rest these fingers against the heel of my hand. And that is if I am in Instagram, because this is sort of the, or not sort of, this is the orientation of the Instagram feed. Now, whenever you do that, make sure to not have your finger over your screen because that doesn't look good and it's kind of embarrassing. And then if I'm horizontal, what I do, and that's going to be for Facebook and YouTube, is I'm going to do the same thing, hold it like a claw, and then stabilize from the bottom with my fingers on the heel of my hand. And I'm just going to walk around or move my hands around like this. And that is a really good skill for gallery tours or showing off your studio if you want to do a virtual studio tour. Just a little tip and something I use. And I am going to share my screen in my camera app so I can show you guys what my lighting scenario is like right now. And this is going to be a really great lighting scenario for if you have no natural light and you're good to just stay like this. Maybe you're giving a presentation or you're talking about your art. This is a really perfect place to be. So once again, share the screen, hope it works. That's the thing with technology right now, right? You just kind of do the thing and hope it works. Okay, so we are in 826 gallery. And you can see here, I have the lights off in the back of me. That helps me to not get washed out with the lights that I have in front of me here. And here I have a desk lamp. You want to make sure that your desk lamp is set up behind, if you use one, is set up behind wherever your camera is going to be. Because if I had my desk lamp in front of me, and I will show you what that's like because it's none too pleasing. My camera behind, I become extremely bright. It's hard to focus on my camera. It's just best to set it up behind your camera to create that soft light look that not only makes you look honestly like a better, but also more professional and like you have a really professional setup, like you do this all the time. So I'm gonna stop the share again. And that pretty much concludes the portion of this webinar where I talk about specifics. So if you guys want to drop questions or things that you would like me to review in the chat or the Q&A, please feel free. We can go over anything that we talked about today. We can talk about archiving our videos, what benefits are versus platforms. I know we already talked about that a little bit already. But yeah, go ahead and drop questions in the Q&A or the chat, or if you raise your hand, I can go ahead and let you speak. I think we have about 15 to 20 minutes to do this, so go right ahead. I also want to say, I know before that I said that it's a little bit difficult to get started with live streaming. But this is really the perfect time to give your audience a face for your brand. We started live streaming at Currents in, I believe, February or March. It was like right before COVID struck. And it felt really embarrassing. I did not really enjoy the live streams. I would obsess about them before we did them. And then once we started doing them more often, it was really amazing and it felt really natural. And the feedback that we would get from friends and people who love Currents that we don't regularly hear from, that knew our names, was just really amazing. And I hope that everyone gets to experience that. Okay. Yeah, so for streaming examples, can you share a few of your pages that you post live on often? So I'm gonna type the current Instagram handle in the chat, and there you can see all of our past live streams in our IGTV archive. And then I will also copy the current new media YouTube, where you can see our archived past performances, because live streaming was a major part of our virtual festival. It allowed us to show performances from artists' spaces to our larger audience during the fest. And that was a really incredible tool for us to be able to see people interacting in the comments and just get feedback while it was happening. So let me share that to you. And I, just for a little extra, will also send you guys the link to our archived Giving Tuesday virtual telethon, because that was a live stream, and you can see in the chat on that, which is still available now, sort of how an interactive experience happens with live streaming. And I know we aren't going over Twitch today, but it's just an example of how vibrant and lively a live stream can be. Looks like we have some more questions in the Q&A. Where you set up an archive for your live feeds. So where that is going to happen is whenever you finish a video in Instagram Live, and this is a little bit my fault that you didn't see this because you can't see my phone screen whenever I'm live streaming. So whenever a video concludes in Instagram, it's going to give you the option, like I showed you, of download or share to IGTV. Whenever you share to IGTV, it is going to download on your phone. It's just killing two birds with one stone. And then from there, you can export it to your YouTube channel or Vimeo or your website. Super easy. YouTube is going to automatically download as well, but you can take the second step of security in Prism to turn on download video. And I can either show you that right now, or whenever it's recorded, you can just refer back. Let me know if you would prefer either way. And then in Facebook, like I showed you, we're gonna save that to our profile. From there, you can download that video to, again, share to your YouTube, Vimeo, or your website, anywhere, but it's super easy. Most of these options just set it right up for you to keep that video, and then it's up to you where you want to archive them. Okay, good sound. Do platforms differ in sound quality? That's not something that is super under control whenever you're streaming from your phone, which is unfortunate, but a lot of the time it is not terrible quality. But what I would suggest, if you are streaming from your phone and want really amazing quality, there are little speakers that you can plug into the aux on your phone that are like little boom speakers that pick up incredible sound, and they're a little expensive from what I remember. We looked into getting one at Currents, but I think they're worth the investment if you are mainly wanting to stream for sound. Okay, we have another question. I'm just gonna keep going through these. Is the 24-hour lag Prism to YouTube from a sign up? No, and that is a great question and definitely something that we should clarify. It's not from a sign up. It's not from the time you make your YouTube channel. I've had my YouTube channel for about a year and a half, and I wanted to show you guys what you'll see with the first time that you try and stream if you don't do the 24-hour wait period. So if you're planning to stream today, you're gonna want to, or if you wanna stream, not today, because that's not 24 hours away. If you wanna stream on Wednesday, on Monday, and you've never streamed to YouTube before, you're gonna wanna go through all the steps like you're streaming, like you're getting ready to stream on Monday. And then you're gonna enter that 24-hour holding period while your account is technically under review. And then by Wednesday, whenever you go through all those steps again, it's going to automatically start streaming, just like the other two. And that process is just something everyone has to do to get around the 1,000 follower count. I don't have a name for the speakers that I just mentioned because I don't have them, but after this, I could look into that and let you know some that seem like they have pretty good reviews. If you just search external speaker for phone online, I'm sure Best Buy will turn something up. They're pretty common now for people who stream often. Okay, this is a good question. What is the difference between Instagram Live and Instagram? So it's the same app. You don't have to worry about getting a separate Instagram Live app. It all happens in the same place. And I will show you where to find that again. I'm gonna get back into Instagram and share my screen. Instagram is just an app that covers IGTV, Instagram Live, and the normal Instagram like we're all pretty used to. It's just you have to know where to find things. So let's go ahead and share that again. Oh, I see that you clarified. You meant IGTV. Still stands, and I will show you where to find IGTV on your profile. All right. So I'm gonna switch to the Real Currents account to show you where our Instagram, our IGTV is. IGTV stands for Instagram TV, and it's where longer videos live. I touched on this in my last webinar, but you can have videos, I think, up to an hour on IGTV. It's really a great resource to make your feed much more rich with content. So we're gonna go to our profile, and right next to the grid icon that shows all of our past posts, right next to it is a TV with a little lightning bolt in it. Looks like a lightning bolt. There you can see that our stuff is designated into different series. So I'm gonna pull up my series if my Wi-Fi will comply with me maybe. And here you can see that you can put things into different categories. And this is where our live streams live that we have done with different artists. And this is a good time to show you what it looks like whenever you go live with someone else on Instagram, since that didn't really work earlier. I'm gonna turn the sound down on my phone, hopefully, so you guys don't get blasted out. I'm just gonna pull up an interview that I did with artist Nancy Baker Cahill. And you can see here my classic little 30-second awkward period that I tried to edit out and didn't get all of. And here is me with Nancy, and you can see the interactions coming up on the bottom of the screen like I'd previously explained. And that is what it looks like. So I'm gonna get out of there because it's too much looking at me. Does anybody have any additional questions? Because we can still have about 5 minutes to take any others or review any concepts that were a little unclear still. Just let me know. And let me know if you learned anything. Again, this is a learning process for me, and I'm so, so thankful that you guys signed up and came to the webinar today, because I learn every time I get to teach someone something, and it's really fun for me. So I hope that you've taken away something too. Are shorter live videos better than long? Again, a really great question. You guys are asking questions that are making me get excited. So the thing with live videos is, if I'm in conversation with someone, I don't want to cut it off in an unnatural way, especially if people are watching and interacting in the chat. You just want to let it find its natural end. I do not like to go longer than about 30 minutes in these videos. And sometimes they do, just because it's not a natural end and I want to let it go until I find that. But for live videos, 30 minutes and shorter for things like Instagram and Facebook is great, because people are finding those by scrolling through their feed and landing on it, or getting notified that you're live and landing on it and being interested. Any longer than 30 minutes gets a little redundant or tedious, and you have to remember how people interact with social media, which is a lot of fast payoff, you know, the instant gratification. But YouTube, you can definitely go longer than 30 minutes, because if someone is on your YouTube channel, they're either subscribed to you and want to see your content, or actively seeking it out, or they've landed on your YouTube page from your promotion and they want to be at this event. I typically think about things more as YouTube is a destination. People want to get there for the content and hang out for a minute, and you want to make it feel like that for them. Whereas Instagram and Facebook is more of a spontaneous like weekend trip, where you kind of land there, and if it feels exciting, you stay, and if it doesn't, you just move on to the next location before coming home. And I think that that's a really good way to think about content and length, is who is going to be here and what do I want to give them when they get here. Is the first webinar. The first webinar should be made available on the Santa Fe Arts and Culture website. So in the email that I will send to you all with the survey of what day works best for the one-on-ones, and we are only going to pick one day for that. I'm really sorry, but I too want to enjoy the holidays. I will send that link to you guys, and these two will live in the same place, to what I understand. All right, we got about 2 more minutes if anyone has any more questions. And if not, I think we will wrap it up. And I would love if anyone who watched tonight does do a live stream. You have my email. I will drop it in the chat again, just in case you don't. Let me know if you're going to go live. I would love to tune in and watch you and interact in the chat and get those numbers up, because live streaming is exciting and it feels good to have someone in your corner when you do it. So please let me know if you're planning to go live with these new tools. All right, everyone, I think that we are good on questions, and I want to thank you again so much for being here tonight. And I really hope you've taken something away, because I definitely have. I really hope you all enjoy your holiday. Please stay home, take care of yourself, your neighbors, and your community at large. Stay safe and stay well.